There's so many Africans in the diaspora doing amazing things. Now, whenever there's the opportunity, I do love to hear their stories and find out more about their journeys. In this show, I speak with Eliza Jones. She's the founder of Chosan by Nature. She's originally from the Gambia. Let's hear what she's got to say.
Eliza, I have been so waiting for this day because I found out that the Great British Entrepreneur Awards named you in 2021 as one of the food entrepreneurs to watch. And I could not wait to speak with you. Can you share with me how that happened?
Oh, I'm very honored. I'm very flattered, when I found that out myself. It was just incredible, little humble me doing my own little thing. And then
I was going to say you're too humble, too modest.
Identified as one of them. But I think it's really due to the range of Baobab jams that I launched the previous year, just before lockdown. They came up with a really interesting, delicious, unusual range of flavors. And I guess the properties of Baobab, they were so pertinent as well to the lockdown because of the immunity boosting properties. I really don't know, but I have to say that was the third Chosan product. We had previously launched a range of hibiscus drinks, as well as a range of hibiscus infused sorbets. So maybe it was the whole African superfood range that's caught the eye. I honestly don't know.
Oh, you really are too modest, Eliza. I mean, that's quite an achievement, to be named by, the Great British Entrepreneur Awards, as a food entrepreneur to watch. It's quite an achievement. So well done to you. And I so admire your modesty. Just to reiterate to you that it's no mean feat, it's quite an achievement, and you have done well.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's so kind of you.
Where did the inspiration for the superfood, products come from? I know, was there an auntie of yours that had a role to play in this growing up in the Gambia, perhaps? You can tell me about that?
The superfood thing came really, you could say, as an after thing, because they were all fruits and plants and vegetables that I grew up in. I grew up in the Gambia, and where we used to make our own drinks. So it was only natural that I would start with the hibiscus drink. And you're right, my aunt did have a part to play. I always admired the way she went about doing things. She was always very authentic. Good quality products, but you didn't mix them too much. You kept their original flavors, you enhanced them as much as possible. And that's really what we've tried to do throughout our range. Be authentic, be simple, but bring out the natural, delicious flavors and tastes and textures.
Yes. And I guess this is what's inspired the name of your brand as well.
Yes,
perhaps you can tell me what Chosan means.
I chose Chosan because it's actually pronounced Chosan, and it means tradition, culture. It's a wall-off word. So we have whether they're foods, whether they're clothes, whether they're rituals that are all about the culture, enhance the culture, and this was about the food culture. Hibiscus grows locally, so does the baobab, and they form part of our foods, ceremonial foods, everyday foods, and was really trying to share this food culture with the wider world, particularly consumers in the UK. So I chose that name.
Yes, I think it's great because, as you say, we live in times when everyone is more health conscious, and I think that these superfoods, the baobab, the hibiscus, which you use as well, they all are very healthy products, we now know, and they're all very natural. And actually, before you corrected me when we spoke, that the word was actually Chosan, I thought it was Chosan, and I think that it's such a nice play on the word chosen, because the meaning of Chosan, you said it means, what did you say, culture and
heritage, tradition. It's one of those words.
Tradition, all of that. Yeah.
All those things, yes.
Yes. So that's culture, tradition by nature. And I think that's a great name for that, actually. Can you tell me a little bit about what you actually use these products for? I know we're talking, is it some spreads, you perhaps some drinks, and can you tell me a bit about the products?
Yes, I've told you a bit about the hibiscus drinks, which
Yes.
I was quite surprised to find that, in Sudan, in the Middle East, in the Latin America, we all make a hibiscus drink. And it's got different names in different countries. So that was the first drink. And again, whenever we have traditional ceremonies or parties, we always have homemade, we call it wonjo in the Gambia, homemade wonjo. So it was the first thing was try and get this homemade wonjo available. Obviously, when you're making it in mass, it's not the same as when you do it yourself, but try and get those flavors around.
Yes.
We also then have a sorbet, a range of sorbets.
Yes.
Where we looked at fresh fruits, watermelons, strawberries, which we know would also make sorbets.
Yes.
And I actually tried it out back in the Gambia. We have lots of watermelon, and I thought, let me see.
Why
so
not?
I tried it out locally, and I thought, well, it was successful there. Try it here. So we have a range of sorbets, but the big thing really, I think, at the Baobab jams, we did also make Baobab drinks. Because again, in Gambia, you can find Baobab drinks easily. We call it bui there.
Ah, right.
So, but rather than calling it bui, because people would know that means, we just say Baobab drink. So we then went back to the Baobab fruit. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's really unusual. It's naturally dry. And when you open it up, it's the pod. It looks as if it's got into the hunks of cheese.
Yeah.
So that's what we thought, okay, let's try doing that in a jam.
Yes.
But I have to confess, I got the idea from someone else. Some friends were visiting me from Mozambique.
Right.
And they said, oh, in Mozambique, we do this and that with it. And I said, oh, bring me some, let me see.
Yeah.
And they brought me. And I thought, I'm sure I can work on this. I can make it into something else.
You can do better.
And that's how we developed all these different range of flavors.
Yes.
Worked on it and tried it out, and
Yeah. Away you went, coming up with so many more flavors. I can really identify with what you're saying about the hibiscus drinks, because we and also the baobab with the hibiscus drink. I'm originally from Ghana, and it's the same story. We actually drink it there quite a lot. And even baobab now, we're using baobab for drinks in Ghana. And the baobab actually grows in the northern part of Ghana. And so I've become aware of it as well in the last few years or so. And I know it's actually a very delicious, healthy product. I've tasted it before. It's very citrusy.
That's right, yes.
And it's got a sourness to it. And that's all the vitamin C coming through. And I think it's a beautiful product. It's healthy. And I really find it interesting, the other products that you're able to mix this baobab with to make your spreads, like banana, chocolate. Can you tell me a bit about those?
Yes, it comes in 4 flavors. But again, we wanted to use fruits that are also, West African or tropical. So, and again, I asked a few friends, what do you think goes well with banana?
Yes.
And someone came with baobab, sorry. And someone came up with the idea of banana, another suggested orange. And I wanted to do something that was sugar-free, and I started looking at the sugar alternative. And that's how we ended up with the chocolate. So we have 4 flavors. The baobab with ginger, which was the original one my friend brought me over.
Oh, yes. From, was it Mozambique, did you say?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Plus the other 3, which were ones that I came up with. But I want to go back to what you said about having tried them in Ghana. For me as well, part of Chosan is bringing out the wealth and the range and the richness of West African foods and just bring it to a wider audience. We grew up with these things, little realizing what they were. We just took it for granted.
We didn't, did we? I know what you mean. It's only recently we kind of paying enough attention.
All these properties. So that's why the superfood came as an afterthought. We were doing these things anyway, and now we realize that these were all superfoods. So it's really good to be able to use the baobab jam to reach more people, because lots of people have jams or spreads for breakfast or when they're baking. Kids, it's an easier way for them to get the vitamin C we were talking about, but it also has loads of fiber, so it's good for you for that as well. So the jams were an easy way of getting it into people's everyday diet in a way that was much more familiar. Because we have another fruit,
jam is consumed a lot. There's a sweetness to it.
Exactly.
And you get to mix the dry pulp of the baobab.
You do need that.
And it's easier to consume, right?
It's easy
to jams.
Particularly as we join it with another fruit. Whereas when you have the drinks, if you don't like the taste, the drink is just buoy. We didn't go as far as making other flavors. We just stuck to the traditional way. But with the jams, there was no tradition. So I kind of went full swing and invented as much as I could.
I think it's absolutely wonderful, to be able to have something tasty, and healthy at the same time at breakfast or for snack or really at any time of the day. And I also like the fact that you've got the sorbet for dessert, and what are some of the flavors that you've got for the sorbet?
The sorbet, we have strawberry with hibiscus, and we have watermelon with hibiscus.
Right.
We'd also looked at, doing things like ginger, doing with the spices, but we thought, well, that might be a bit too much for planets. Let's go with a familiar fruit.
Yeah, I understand. Have you thought about using the baobab for kind of sorbet? Have you looked into that?
That's one of our next new products we want to be working on.
Right.
So I cannot say too much about that right now.
Okay, I did I let the cat out of the bag?
No. It just makes natural sense. It just makes natural sense. I guess.
Yes.
Really
I'll be watching that space for baobab sorbet. I must say there was a time I actually used baobab. I love to bake and cook quite a bit myself, and so I tried a baobab cheesecake. It was quite tasty, actually.
Really?
Yeah, it was kind of like a lemon cheesecake, but yummier. And then, of course, you've got the fiber from the pulp of the baobab. It really was beautiful.
Wow.
So if you ever think about cheesecakes, then
you're giving me loads of ideas there.
That's a tip for you.
Yes. In fact, we use the baobab in the Gambia to make a traditional dish we call nanburu that's made around Easter.
Right.
It's like a rice pudding. We use it with fresh grown rice. And it's delicious. But I think again, maybe it's a higher taste because it's just baobab, nothing else.
This is so inspiring. Actually, sitting here, I'm feeling healthy already. Talking about all this hibiscus and baobab. And Eliza, where do you get the hibiscus and baobab from for the things that you make?
Yes, I took the decision to try and source as much as possible in the UK already, so that I can concentrate on their manufacturing and getting it out. So there's nowadays it's quite widely available, but there's some very reliable suppliers that sort of fair trade. They work directly with farmers, either in Ghana. Our baobab comes from Ghana.
I'm not surprised. We have lots of it in the northern part.
Yes, women cooperatives, and the hibiscus, either sometimes it's from Egypt or either it's from Nigeria, but they're all West Africa. I try to source as much as possible from West Africa, give back to West Africa that way. And at the same time, we're also supporting women farmers in the Gambia by trying to give us.
I was going to say actually, because I'm quite sure I saw something like that you actually run Chosan by Nature as a social enterprise, where you support women in the Gambia. Can you tell me a bit about that?
I would say that's more like our long-term goal aspiration, because the numbers of people we've been able to help are quite limited. And again, it's seen as a kind of collaboration, trying to work with women groups already there and kind of support what they're already doing. So I work with, I think it's called the Gambian Association of Women Entrepreneurs. They're about 8 women who used to be food technology extension workers, trying to show women farmers how to process their food, how to make more from it. And now, when projects finish, you have to find a way of keeping yourself going. So they're now quite enterprising. They make their own products. And I can see there's been a kind of explosion of having products more easily available for women. So through them, I support them, and they in turn try to support others. I've been talking to other groups to see what they're doing and how I can align, the whole idea of, Chosan really, the inspiration behind Chosan is to try and address the food waste we see.
Yes.
Where you have seasonal agriculture, everything ripens and matures at the same time, and then the market is flooded, the price goes down, and things go to waste, Mounds upon mounds of mangoes fall to the ground and are but then nobody
I know how you mean.
The wherewithal, either the technology or the packaging, to try and do that. So that was what I've always wanted to do.
And coming up with products that would utilize some of these fruits and vegetables a bit more, isn't it? To reduce or basically do away with this wastage that we have.
Yeah, because if you already work so hard to grow the stuff, and then because it ripens at the same time as everyone else, your price goes down, or you can't get, you might as well find a way of preserving it or processing it and sell it for longer. So so that's looking at women who may be interested in that and how can I support that. But that's really what my passion is, to try and make more in that way, support jobs.
Indeed.
Economy, we don't import so much, we become more self-sufficient, all those bigger goals, but start off by making a bit more money for what you're already doing.
Indeed. Eliza, I absolutely admire your spirit. You so realize that we live in a world now where the issue of sustainability is at the forefront. And I also pick up on the fact that you're so conscious, that you're so aware of the fact that collaboration is the way forward, supporting each other in the things that we do. And I don't know if you got that from your past time of working as a senior civil servant in the Gambia, in one of the ministries, I imagine. I think. Can you tell me a bit about that?
You've been digging up and doing your research.
I have been finding out about Eliza.
I think, sort of growing up in Gambia and working in the Gambia, a lot of things are done through groups. You realize that, when you want to reach people, you reach them through a group and then they spread it among themselves. That's the really most effective. You must have heard of things like Osusu, women saving groups, where you don't have...
we actually have that in Ghana. And I think that translated into what we now call the microfinance industry.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a brilliant idea.
And then you take it in turn. So that's, collaboration in that sense. But I think we all have the same kind of goal. We want to increase women's livelihood, increase their quality.
We have a common purpose, don't we, as human beings?
Exactly. So we can align. We don't go about it the same way, but we can support each other in what we're doing.
Wonderful. These conversations, I think I'm the one who ends up getting inspired, and they inspire me so much. It's so inspiring listening to you, Eliza, and thank you so much for sharing everything you've done so far. I know that everything you're telling me, sounds great and all of that. But I'm sure, like every other entrepreneur and indeed human being, you do have your challenges. You must have gone through some challenges at some point. Are you able to share some of those challenges with me, and especially how you got through those tough times? Is that a big one?
That's a big question. Yes, I think you're right. You're spot on there. That as an entrepreneur, especially in UK, but I think everywhere, you have big barriers. First of all, you don't have that team around you, which gives you all the sort of skills, the skills that you need to do everything. But I think usually,
as you had in the ministry,
and the contacts to help your products, to get this contract or to get that contract, it's different.
Yes.
But I think particularly the finance, because business is about, you must be able to generate money to keep going. And it's not just keep going, you've got to expand, you've got to improve, you've got to reinvest. So I think, all those things I've mentioned are extremely, extremely challenging. I think,
yes,
how do you network as much as possible, because that's where you
yes,
find out, who can help you, what the resources are, how others have managed.
right,
You also have, I think you must have really good support, whether it's, family, or whether it's your colleagues or somebody you call a mentor. I think I've been very, very fortunate. Somebody I have who's worked with me from the very beginning, is always there, where you can let off steam and they can come up with
yes.
suggestions.
That's
But also
important, isn't it? Psychological well-being.
psychological, yes. And I think particularly so. They help you see
Yes.
how far you've come. Because you're always seeing at what you haven't achieved. You're always thinking, I'm not there yet. This is so difficult. This is so long. And
Yes.
they're actually able to take you back. But look, don't underestimate what you've done.
Yes.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
And don't judge yourself too harshly, isn't it?
I think that, because when you really feel low, I remember telling somebody that, I really felt, this is like the last couple of months, I looked at my list of retailers, the numbers had gone down, obviously I'm doing something wrong, etc., etc. And I said, no, you have these number of retailers that are still working with you. That's something, helping me to that helps me lift myself up, because you can see all the things that you haven't done, that you wanted to do. And that can actually bring you down sometimes.
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. And I think it's to give ourselves a bit more credit for where we are at whatever stage in life, isn't it? And I think most importantly also to remember that those people who support you when you feel lowly or not at your best, they might also be the same people who you would end up supporting at some time, because that's life, isn't it? Sometimes you're strong, sometimes you don't feel that strong. So it's all about supporting each other.
Exactly.
Wow.
Being with each other. Yes.
Eliza,
yes.
Yeah, I was just going to say, talking about the finance aspect of it, I know that you're up and running and all of that, but are you open to or interested in anyone who might see your products and want to invest, perhaps?
Oh, yes. They're very, very welcome. I'm really open to sort of partners, people who can bring in whatever it is, whether it's their finances, whether their experience, their contacts, their knowledge, their passion. That's why I talk about collaboration.
Or contacts, perhaps.
With others, yes. You can do a lot more. So I'm always open to that. You'll be very welcome.
Yeah, great. I can you tell me, where can your Chosan products be bought right now? I know, were you doing something with, was it Okada recently?
Or when we launched the drinks, we were in Okado for the first couple of years.
Okado, not Okada.
Yes, when we moved to the sorbets, we then became more local, because of their frozen products. With the jams available with some independent stockists in London, whether it's cafes or little retailers, farm shops, delis. But we've also got a good online presence on not just the Chosan website, but the vegan kind, a lot of the black businesses, Oyaya. So all you need to do is you Google Chosan by Nature and you'll find that it's easily available.
Yeah, I so admire your modesty, Eliza, because I have had a look on your website and you have so many retail outlets, and you play it down so much. And I think that's so admirable. And I'm really, going to take that with me.
Always work in progress. It's always work in progress. That
Indeed.
It's forever evolving.
Oh, you're too humble, and I can see how you've gotten to where you are now. Humility is always a virtue, and I really like that. And thank you for being that. So, Eliza, you've done a lot already. It's almost hard to see what else I can look forward to, but I wish you would share with me what we can expect in the future from Chosan by Nature brand.
Well, actually, we've been talking to a few other smaller brands, peer brands, fellow brands, about how, we could do this collaboration together.
Yes.
One of the examples is we're looking at, in the Gambia, there are quite a lot of small businesses. We have a company that does a whole range of soaps, but including hibiscus, baobab, moringa. So using the whole West African or African fruits and vegetables,
Yes.
superfoods.
The superfoods, that's it.
Look at how we can diversify the range of offerings. So
Mm-hmm.
through working with her, for example, we'll be able to do something to collaboratively with soaps.
Yes.
Somebody else is doing something with the teas.
Right.
So again, but this is
Wonderful.
primarily, I say, working with another partner, but helping to make some of these products reach a wider audience.
Wonderful.
And here in UK,
through products that are used every day, isn't it?
Well, this is it. We want these to be used every day.
Yes.
There's another,
as part of a tasty and healthy lifestyle.
Exactly. That is full. It's diverse. It covers a whole range of expands people's horizons.
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to add one more. We've been working with another brand that does Baobab gin.
Wonderful.
It's always
great
promoting these healthy products that we all grew up with.
Indeed. Oh, I so love this. Eliza, how can you be reached? Because, my dear friend watching might, want to contact you for partnership perhaps, or perhaps wholesale purchases, or how can we reach you?
Yes, the email to use is the hello@chosan.co.uk on our website, right. And that will sort of get through to me. Yes, that's
excellent. I guess, like you mentioned earlier, if we just Google Chosan by Nature, we will see your website and all of your other contact details will come.
And you can also find us on Facebook, on Instagram. Yes.
Excellent. Eliza, what final words would you like to leave me and my dear friend watching with? You have such a wealth of knowledge and experience, and you've shared a lot already, but it would be great to actually leave me with something specific to go away with, and with Eliza in mind, a bit of Eliza wisdom.
You keep asking me these questions. Well, I would say is that you've just got to sort of be persistent, be patient, keep going, because there will always be hurdles, there will always be barriers, but you get knocked down, you lie low, you get up, and you keep walking. You have a passion, you have a purpose, and just keep working towards it. Don't give up.
Yes. Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much.
There you are.
Oh, and coming from you, I can take that. I can absolutely see the evidence of that, and it's really inspiring to hear. And I think that myself or my dear friend watching, we have no excuse not to keep going. We have to be persistent, we have to be resilient, and we have to just work our way around the challenges that come by. Use what we've got to uplift us, like you've said, people, networks, or anything else to inspire us, and we keep going. That's
very
great.
Succinct. Very well put.
I'm learning fast, Eliza. Oh, thank you so very much, Eliza. I know that you're ever so busy, and I can't thank you enough for taking time out to speak with me today. All that's left is for me to say that you remain as strong and innovative as you've been so far, that you keep going, keep coming up with even more tasty, healthy products for all of us to use. May you grow stronger, may you grow even better and wiser than you currently are. May Chosan by Nature go from strength to strength. May we see it in even more retail outlets than we currently have them, which is quite a lot as well. Thank you so much, Eliza. I think you're a great diaspora African.
Thank you. May your words be blessed. Thank you.
Amen.
For your support.
It's great to meet you, Eliza. Perhaps one day I'll get to come to where you're at and actually see you in person, in the flesh.
I look forward to that. I will look forward to that.
Thank you. Have a lovely rest of day and stay well.
I wish you the same.
Okay, thank you, Eliza. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh.